Well, it was the first children's theme park on the East Coast when it opened in 1955 in Howard County. Young visitors could climb aboard rides like Mother Goose, Alibaba, or the Little Toot tugboat.
And sadly, the Enchanted Forest closed its doors in 1989, but a new book now details the park's history and many of its cherished memories. And here to tell us all about that Storybook Park is one of the book's authors, Martha Ann Clark. And I want to thank you for joining us. The Enchanted Forest was my hangout when I was a child, and I have such fond memories of it. So tell us about that and how it was created.
Well, the Enchanted Forest opened up in August of 1955. The Harrison family had a motel that had a kind of a theme of each of the little rooms being different, like the shoemaker's house and the, that kind of thing. And so they had this idea of something like that. And in 1954 and 1955, they thought about creating a storybook land using the fairy tales and the nursery rhymes that their children had grown up with for the theme. And they bought some land in Howard County, and they built, created the characters, built the houses, put them all there, and it was a place made for children. And that's why it's so magical, because the world didn't revolve around children the way it does now, and they really, it meant a lot to them.
Right, so when this opened back in '55, there was no King's Dominion, no Busch Gardens. Was that part of the charm, just as one of a kind in the region?
Yes, yeah, it was the first on the East Coast, and it drew from all over the Mid-Atlantic region, and anyone who grew up in Maryland at the time definitely went there.
Now, while other parks around the country had remained segregated, this was one of the first parks in the nation to actually integrate. So tell us a little bit about that. This even included integrated bathrooms, which was unheard of at the time.
That's correct. The Harrison family was just a forward-thinking family, and they decided before they opened up in 1955 that it was important to them that everybody could come. They loved all children and wanted them all to come. And they, I'm sure there were people who didn't go to the Enchanted Forest because it was integrated and blacks could also go. But it was a place where everyone was welcome, and I have so much respect for the Harrison family for doing that.
So looking at pictures here now, the park, I understand, closed back in 1989.
Yes.
Talk about why it closed and what happened to all the Storybook Land items.
Yeah, well, it closed in '89. They opened, the first week they were open, they had 20,000 people, and they peaked, I think, probably at 350,000 people a year, and it was the place to go in the region in the 50s and 60s and 70s. But they started to get competition from King's Dominion and Six Flags and Busch Gardens, and the people wanted, fancier
the rides.
Yeah. This was a low-key kind of little kids type park, and then it's harder to get people to work, and someone offered them a nice amount of money for the property, and the next generation I think wasn't as enthusiastic about running the place as the generation that was running it then, and there was always lots of good reasons to make changes like that. So,
but you have actually chosen to write this book to preserve some Maryland history.
Absolutely, and we have also moved the Enchanted Forest books and characters to our farm, which is only 5 miles away, so that people can still visit them there.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. And like I said, I had such fond memories myself of that location. So for those interested in reviving some childhood memories, many of these features, as she said, have been at a park that have been restored in the new setting at Clark's Ellie Oak Farm, and that's on Route 108 in Ellicott City. And the book is available online and in local bookstores.